Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss in continuation to my previous lecture, previous video which I have prepared related to rock mechanics and starter control. Okay, in earlier lecture we covered. So in this lecture I'm going to cover what are the various definition of coal bumps, rock bust, and what are the causes of coal bumps, rock bust, preventive measures of coal bumps, preventive measures of rock bust. These topics we will be covering as part of this video. Okay, before I start, let me recap what we had discussed in the last video lesson. Okay, in the last video lesson, I have covered the basics of rock mechanics, the scope of rock mechanics in mining, and the various basic terminology such as stress, strain, Poisson's ratio, modulus of elasticity, like different modulus of elasticity, like Young's modulus, rigidity modulus, bulk modulus, relation between various modulus of elasticity, and we also solve simple numerical problems by using different basic formulas. So let's continue. Hope you are all well acquainted with the basic terminology. So let's continue. So as in order to analyze what exactly what you call rock bust and coal pump, okay, in order to understand that, we need to know we need to know how exactly the stress distribution takes place whenever you make an opening to carry out the mining activity. So for that, we need to understand two different terminologies. Like see here in this diagram, this is the entry that we made it inside the coal deposit to carry out the mining activity. The roof, this is called the overlying strata. The one which we discussed, yellow and the other color, there are overlying strata which is extended up to the surface. Now the roof which is present immediately above the opening, that is known as immediate roof. And the roof which is present above the immediate roof, that is called main roof. So as part of rock mechanics, we need to predict the behavior of the roof, how exactly the stress redistribution, and how exactly the internal residual stresses, and what would be the what you call the internal movements of the strata. Okay, does this causes any damage to the mining activity? Because we made an opening and we disturbed the stresses which were present in this in-situ condition. So for that, so basically the stresses acting on this opening mainly depends on what exactly the different characteristics of overlying strata and in what depth the deposit is present and what would be the thickness of the deposit and how much is the thickness of the deposit and what is the method of extraction and at what rate we are extracting the mineral and what kind of support system that we will be using. So these are all what you call various factors that basically influences the effective strata control. Okay, here we just discussed about I just covered what you call two basic terminology like main roof, immediate roof. It means the roof which is present, the overlying strata which is present immediately above the opening, that is called immediate roof, and the roof which is present after above the immediate roof, that is called main roof. So due to the various characteristic features, various physico-mechanical properties of the rock mass, the stresses acting on this opening will vary. So let's move on. See here, this is basically, this diagram represents how exactly the redistribution of stress takes place. Because before we discuss about the what you call rock bust and coal bump, we need to understand the redistribution of stresses. If you look at this diagram, this is a coal deposit, and this is what the opening that we made it. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what the opening we made it. So this is everything is, this is a kind of opening. This is what we made it. So here, this part, this everything. So because of this opening, initially the stresses were acting like this. It was like this. Before making the opening I'm talking about, it was like this, like this. That means in its in situ condition, they are all in equilibrium. So it is. The same way from the bottom also, like this. So this is what the in situ state of stresses. So soon after making this opening, the stresses get disturbed. That means the stresses which are in equilibrium, its in situ condition, they get disturbed. So I made this opening now, this part. Here it is. So I made this opening. Okay, this opening I made it. So earlier it was acting like this. Earlier it was vertically like this. Now, what should I do now? See here, the stresses gets redistributed. We just follow this line. It's got redistributed because earlier it was acting like this. Earlier it was acting like this. Now what happened now? It's got redistributed. Like this, it's got redistributed. So that's nothing but whatever the stresses, whatever the load that was acting, okay, on top of this opening, let's get redistributed, but not the complete extent. To certain extent only it's get redistributed. The stress that got redistributed and acting on the edges of this opening, edges of the opening is nothing but this portion, this part, and this part. Edges of this opening, the stresses. What are the stress that got redistributed and acting on the edges of the opening is known as abutment pressure. This is called abutment pressure. Get here. It's known as what? Abutment pressure. That's nothing but the redistributed pressure that's acting on the edges of the opening is known as abutment pressure, right? So here, if you look at here, all the forces which were vertically acting on top of this opening, only certain extent that got redistributed, and what about the remaining this portion of it? Look at here all my drawing. See this part. This portion. So this portion of load still acting on this opening. Okay, it will be acting on this opening. So if I won't provide any kind of support like this, what happened? It will try to close this opening. It will try to close this opening. As a result, there will be a movement between the layers of the strata, like this. See here, there is a movement. There will be what you call, they got there is some kind of sag. Okay, so the portion of the what you call overlying strata whose stress or whose load not got redistributed, which is in the shape of a dome. That's why this is called dome theory. Or you will be getting some kind of arch. That is why this is also known as, this concept is also known as pressure arch theory. This is pressure arch. Now what's happening now? Okay, this got redistributed and this this dome portion still acting on this. So what happens now? It all depends on the overlying layers, how strong they are, whether they could able to sustain on their own, or it requires some kind of what you call artificial support so that they won't close the opening. So in result, what happened? If I won't provide any kind of support, as I said, there will be a movement between the layers of the strata. If you look at here, you are my drawing. Okay. So this is a kind of dome that we are having. And there will be, due to movement, there will be separation. Earlier it was like this. Now it got sagged like this. Similarly here. Similarly here. The separation between the layers of the strata, because since we have not provided any kind of support, and this portion will try to close this opening, this results into separation between the layers. So the separation between the layers of the strata is known as bed separation. If this, what is the bed separation? If this bed separation is not avoided, okay, by providing proper support, it leads to kind of roof fall. How exactly roof fall? Look at here. This is a kind of beam. It's sagging. If I won't provide, it leads to development of what? Some kind of crack this, and which results into what we call collapse of this particular stuff. So this is what exactly known as. This is what exactly known as roof fall. So from this we can say like why we need to provide a support, how exactly the stress redistribution takes place, and why we need to provide a support. Look at here, as I said, let me repeat it. Using this diagram, okay, it's very clear that before making this opening, the stresses that were acting, they were in equilibrium. Soon after making the opening, okay, certain portion of the load, what you call the stress that was acting above the opening, it gets redistributed, okay, which will be acting on the sides of the opening. That is known as abutment pressure. This one, which we discussed just a minute back. Abutment pressure. Next, as I said, the complete portion of the overlying strata won't get redistributed. It all depends on the properties of the rock mass present in the overlying strata. If it is of rigid and they can sustain on their own, there won't be any separation, and we will be leaving the opening just like that because it will self-sustain. Here in this case, what's happening is there will be, due to lateral movement, there will be separation between the layers of the strata. Due to the due to the lateral movement, okay, and there will be separation. This separation is known as bed separation. This separation is known as bed separation. So in any mining activity, whenever you soon after making the opening, depending on the what you call the characteristic of overlying strata, to avoid the separation between the two layers, that's nothing but the bed separation, will be providing the support. So this is in brief about the distribution of stress around a what you call smaller opening, because we need to understand this before we discuss about the bumps and bursts, what you call coal bumps and rock bursts. Okay. Next, we'll discuss further. Let me clear this. Okay. Okay, yeah. So it's the same thing. The P1, they are called vertical compressive stresses, and P2 are the lateral one, the one like this, which are acting. Okay, we're just demarcating them here. Next one is C is the abutment pressure. Yes, this part. Okay. Next one is bending stresses. B is nothing but this is a bending because that's where exactly the sag took place. Okay. And what you call last one is S is the shear. See this portion, it gets sheared off. This part. So that's why it is called this portion. It's called a shear. Okay. These are the different stresses which were acting. Notation of different stresses that were represented in the diagram. Okay, and now let's see here. It's not necessarily always the opening is a smaller one. Mining could be of larger one because the main aim of mining activity is to extract the mineral deposit present below earth crust to a maximum extent. If the opening is of wider, mainly in case of what you call coal deposits. It's known as what you call longwall mining. This you might have studied in your what you call earlier classes. Okay. So in case of, let's discuss how exactly the stress distribution takes place in case of wider opening. Look at here, the similar way, the way we discussed earlier, what you call in the previous slide, it's also similar. See here, whatever the forces which are, this is a what you call, this is a kind of opening that was made. In this case, the front face, this is called front abutment. This portion is called what? Front abutment. Just a minute. And this portion is called this, the lateral, the other end of it, that is called rear abutment. Rear abutment. And next one is, this is called, this portion is called what we call the face. These are all the different types of supports. So this is how it is. Now what's happening now? Earlier, whatever the forces which were acting like this, initial conditions like this, like this, like this, as the advancement of the phase, because phase is getting advanced like this direction, right? Yep, it is getting advanced like this. So due to movement of this one, what happened is get redistributed. So certain portion got redistributed here, and it's on the remaining some portion got on the front abutment part of it, and the second one is on the rear abutment part of it. And what happened? Whatever the immediate roof that is present, okay, it leads to what collapse on the void that got created due to mining activity. So here there's a void which got created, and whatever the roof that it got collapsed, and it filled that entire gap here. It filled that entire gap here. Okay, look at here. This is called the front abutment. This is called the back abutment, and this is how the load. This line indicates what there is a break, because it's not continuous one, because it's a huge or very wider opening. It won't be continuous kind of thing. There's a break. So main roof that got breaked here. That's the reason it's not continuous one. Okay. So this diagram basically depicts how exactly the stress redistribution takes place. Stress redistribution takes place. Okay, in case of wider opening. Let me close this. Let's. Okay. Now let us discuss let us come back to the actual topic. So we discussed in the previous slides, like okay, how exactly the stress, main roof, immediate roof, and the coal seam. That's nothing but, let me reiterate, the roof which is present immediately above the opening, that is called immediate roof, and the roof which is present above the immediate roof, that is called main roof. So due to this overlying strata, okay, there will be what you call stress that will be acting, more and more stress will be acting on the coal seam. So this is about the narrow opening. This is about the stress distribution in case of wider opening. Now, what is rock bust? Look at here. In case of metalliferous deposits, mainly the metal mines, that's nothing but other than the coal deposits. They are known as metalliferous mines. Okay. So other than the coal deposit, generally those deposits will be present at a greater depth. Those deposits will be present at a greater depth. So if due to improper design or whatever the reason, design of the pillar or improper design of stone, the stress that is acting on the pillars will be more. Okay, if the proper dimension of the pillars is not maintained, what happens? So more and more stress will get acting on the designed pillars. So up to the pillars could able to bear the load up to certain extent. And afterwards, there is a sudden release because it leads to kind of some violent explosion kind of thing. So that's what exactly is known as rock burst. So what exactly the rock burst now? This sudden release of stress acting on a rock mass with violent explosion due to excess of pressure is known as rock burst. This is mainly in case of what we call metalliferous mines. The rock burst, this terminology generally it is being used in case of metalliferous mines. On the contrary, in case of coal mines, because only the terminology, but the concept wise both are same. Okay, yeah? In case of metal mines, it's known as rock burst. In case of coal mines, it's known as coal bomb. See, in case of coal also, as we discussed, right, we'll be what you call designing the, we'll be developing the coal deposit into number of pillars, and based on depending on the method of extraction, we'll be extracting the pillars. So, if the deposit is present at a greater depth, the pillar dimensions are not proper, and the improper supports, there was no proper support. So more and more load will be acting, which results into more and more load acting on the designed pillar. So which gets, see here what exactly the coal bump is. The sudden release of excess of pressure acting on a coal pillar is known as coal bump. Hope you guys got it. What is rock burst now? The sudden release of stress acting on a rock mass with violent explosion due to excess of pressure is known as rock burst. In case of coal mines, in case of coal deposits, the sudden release of excess of pressure acting on the coal pillar is known as coal bomb. So conceptually both are same. One terminology is used in case of metal mines and the other one is used in case of coal mines, coal deposits. Okay. This is a little bit more deeper concept of it. Basically, this is basically I just wanted to show like using finite element method, like some kind of advanced method. I just thought of it is worth of discussing over here. So using finite element analysis, nothing but the computer based analysis. Okay, computer by giving the various rock what you call rock properties, physico mechanical properties of the rock mass, overlying rock mass, and the depth, the inclination, and the method of extra and other parameters into the system. We will be able to what you call predict how exactly the opening behaves. So this is basically this diagram basically represents the distribution of the stress around the opening. Okay, where because see here, if the stress whatever the location where the stress acting along the edges of the opening is more, will be taking adequate precautions by providing proper support. So that's how people will be doing. So the predictive analysis can be made using what you call FEM based analysis. Okay, in this method there are so many FEM softwares like finite element method based softwares that are being used in the industry. Okay, wherein what you call the given input parameters like what you call the depth of the seam, inclination of the seam, thickness of the deposit, dimensions of the pillar, what you call, and the geomechanical properties of the rock mass, overlying strata. Okay, and at what rate we will be what you call will be extracting the mineral deposit. Given and physical mechanical properties nothing but kind of what you call compressive strength, tensile strength, shear strength, Poisson's ratio. Given those properties as an input, we could able to predict how exactly the stress redistribution that takes place around the open. So using finite element analysis, I know like this is a bit more advanced kind of topic, but I feel like it's a kind of worth of discussing over here because while discussing the what you call rock burst and coal bombs. So in this method, basically, given all those input parameters, okay, this diagram basically depends how exactly the stress redistribution that takes place. So that by predicting the result analysis, we can take adequate precautions in the field. We can take adequate precautions in the field and provide effective support for safe mining activity. Okay, this is what exactly this diagram. Next one is, so this is another one. In case of plastic, you see there is a complete closing of this opening because stress getting redistributed, and you will try to close the complete opening. So in these situations, what happens generally, the entire vertical area of opening has to be supported. So generally, this is more prominent in case of what you call tunnels kind of opening. In case of tunnels, so in such a situation, we'll be providing what you call some kind of arch kind of support, like this. Just a minute. kind of supports like this. Like this will be providing. So given those physico-mechanical parameters and other relevant input parameters, using FM-based software, we can predict like how exactly this strata around this opening behaves. Accordingly, we'll provide the corresponding support system. Okay, yeah, this is about the plastic zone, and the entire area is basically depicts what there will be complete. The stress will be acting from all the sides of the opening, and it will try to close this opening. So eventually, it requires support from a complete surrounded opening. So that's what exactly it is. Okay. So this is about the redistribution of stresses and predicting the what you call the various stress distributions around the opening using FEM-based analysis, given the physico-mechanical properties and other properties as an input to the software. Okay. Now let us analyze what are the various causes of coal bumps. Look at here. What is coal bump now? In case of coal deposits, okay, what are the pillars that we have designed? And if it is not proper and the dimension is not proper and it is not according to the depth of the deposit, then what happens? More and more due to overlying strata, more and more stress will be acting on this opening. More and more stress will be acting on opening. So see here, depending on its strength, it could able to bear up to certain extent. So afterwards, what happens? It will try to crush the pillar. So which results into what? Sudden release of excess of pressure acting on the core, which is known as coal bump. Okay. So let us see what are the causes of coal bumps. The following are various reasons for the occurrence of coal bumps. Okay. Number one, improper design of coal pillar. Yes, improper design of because the dimensions of the pillar is very, very important. Okay, to overcome these kind of problems. Depending on the depth, see if the depth of the deposit is more and the dimensions of the pillar is less, what happens now? More and more stress will be acting on the pillar. As a result, what happens? Okay, it leads to crushing of the pillar. That's nothing but coal bumps. So first fact is improper design of the pillar. Next, what are the pillars which you have developed? They must be extracted in a proper sequential manner so that we can control the behavior of the overlying strata effectively. So the second parameter, the second factor that influences the cause of coal bump is improper method of extraction. Okay. Next one is inadequate supporting system. So what exactly is this one here? Look at here. Yes. Look at here. In this one, we discussed already why we need a support now. See, if I won't provide any support, what happens? That leads to separation between the layers of the strata. If I provide a support, what happens? They will intact in its in-situ condition. There won't be any lateral movement of the strata, right? So it all depends because if I provide a proper support, the load that is acting on the abutments gets reduced because here also certain load will be acting. These supports will carry certain load. Okay, that leads to what? Less pressure on the abutment, and which so that we can avoid the coal bumps. So it's nothing but we can avoid what you call the excess of pressure or excess of stress that will be acting on the abutments of the pillar. So that's what exactly it is. So inadequate supporting system. Yes, we need to provide proper supporting system to avoid coal bumps. Okay, generally what happened, right? If the coal overlying on the surface of the deposit, okay, if there are some important surface features, but still we wanted to carry out the mining activity. What people does is soon after extracting the coal deposit and what are the deposit that we have wanted to extract it, they will fill that what are the gap that got produced due to mining activity. It's known as GOF. Yes, that GOF area is being filled with sand or some other inert material. So that what happens? There won't be any sag on the top layers, which won't cause much damage. As a result, what happens? Because the opened area or the void that got created due to mining activity is being completely filled with some inert material. So the load acting on the pillars will be less, so that we can avoid what? The coal bombs. So next one is overriding of coal pillars. Overriding of coal pillars is nothing but, look at here. Yes. Look at here. So this also we can say, right? If I won't provide anything, okay, the complete load that will be acting on the abutments of this opening, nothing but the load which is acting on the abutments on the edges of the opening is more than its capacity. The excess of load that will be acting on the edges of the opening is known as abutment pressure, or sometimes it is also known as overriding. Overriding is nothing but the excess of load that will be acting on it. This is more what you call proper terminology, mainly in case of what you call wider opening like long wall mining. If you look at here, the complete load will be acting on this, on the front abutment, whereas in case of rear abutment, the load which will be acting is very less. So the complete load or the stress concentration will be on the front abutment side. So this is the excess of load that will be acting on this abutment, what called the front end of this opening, that is known as overriding of pillar. So the overriding of pillar is another factor, okay, which basically influences the coal bombs. Next, depth of the deposit, yes, because since the depth of the deposit is more, the stress acting due to overlying strata will be more. So definitely we need to maintain proper dimensions of the pillar, proper supporting system, as like what are the previous what you call points which you discussed. Those things we need to cover. Those things we need to maintain. So depth of the, so another factor which basically influences is coal bombs. Next one is various physico-mechanical properties of the rock. Right. This is another very, very, very important actually to avoid the main causes of coal bomb. For example, if the overlying strata is very weak, we cannot maintain what you call, we need to maintain, we cannot design large length of pillars. So we need to maintain the smaller length of the pillars. But if the length of the pillar is inadequate with respect to the depth, that leads to crushing of the pillar. So we need to consider various physico-mechanical properties of the rock mass, that is unconfined compressive strength. This we'll be discussing in the coming lectures. What exactly the unconfined compressive strength? It's nothing but uniaxial compressive strength. And the other mechanical properties is what you call compressive strength, tensile strength, and shear strength, different modulus of elasticity, Poisson's ratio. Okay, and these are all the different factors that we need to consider. Okay, based on this only, because of coal bomb, what you call depends. Suppose let us say if the overlying, let us say for the time being, at this juncture, whatever the mining activity that we are carrying out, if the overlying strata is very strong, so generally what we will do, we won't provide any kind of support. But as the mining activity progress, what happens? What you call, even this area of exposure will be more. So if you won't provide a support, what happens now? Right, the more and more stress will be acting due to overlying strata, because it's not collapse, it is a strong one. So the more and more what you call stress will be acting on the what called the edges of the opening. So that is also known as what the overriding of the pillar. Overriding of the pillar. So the physico-mechanical properties, like how stable the overlying strata is. In continuation to let's continue. In continuation to my previous video, we were discussing about what are the various causes of coal bombs. Okay. So next one, the other parameters that basically influences the coal bombs are geological disturbances such as fault folds. Obviously, the presence of fault folds, that's nothing but the zone of weakness or plane of weaknesses, which influences what we call more and more stress in those zones. More and more stresses will be acting, and which leads to coal bombs. Next, the rate at which the coal is being extracted, rate of extraction. See, in case of what you call faster rate of extraction with the proper method of mining, we won't give much time for the stress to concentrate over a given pillar or over a given location, because the rate of extraction is very fast. If the rate of extraction is very slow, and as we keep on developing the pillars, and the concentration of stress that will be acting due to overlying strata on the pillars will be more. So rate of extraction is the another factor which basically influences the cause of coal bombs. Next one is incubation period. What exactly the incubation period is? It is the duration in which the coal is being, the developed pillar is being extracted. The developed pillar is being extracted. So the incubation period is nothing but incubation period is nothing but the duration in which the coal developed pillar is being extracted before appearance of the spontaneous heating. It's nothing but what the exact definition of it is. It is the time gap of extraction of the pillar. Okay, what do you call the first roof fall that occurs in the cove area? Okay, and the symptoms of spontaneous heating that appears in the cove area. With this time lapse between these two is known as incubation period. So within that period, the coal has to be extracted. And the last parameter that influences the cause of coal bombs is the method of extraction. Because by choosing the proper method of extraction, okay, we can avoid the coal bombs. So in case of improper method of extraction, okay, that leads to what we call more and more stress concentration on the pillars, which in turn leads to coal bombs. Next, preventive measures. So definitely the following are the various preventive measures of coal bombs. Proper design of pillars based on various geomechanical properties of overlying strata. Okay, because the pillar dimensions has to be very proper. Next, the geomechanical properties such as compressive strength, shear strength, and tensile strength of overlying rock mass. Okay, we need to take those things into consideration. Okay. Implementation of suitable method of extraction. There's nothing but by choosing proper method of extraction, we can avoid coal bombs. Next, by providing required supporting system. Yes, for effective strata control. So by choosing effective vertical supporting system, we can avoid the more and more stress concentration on the pillars, which in turn avoids the coal bombs. Okay. Next one, we need to monitor, because during mining activity, we need to monitor in the pillars the locations where there will be a likelihood of occurrence of more stress concentration. So the another parameter is another way we can measure the coal bump is by monitoring the stress acting on the pillars continuously and by taking timely precautions. Definitely, we will be using various stress measuring devices in the field, such as borehole deformation gauge, flat jaw, convergence recorder, remote convergence recorder, telltale borehole extensometer. These are all different devices that we'll be using for monitoring of stresses acting on pillars. Next, the coal bumps can also be prevented by implementing stowing practice. Yes, stowing is nothing but whatever soon after extraction of the coal deposit here, whatever the void that got created, if it is being filled with some inert material, so definitely there won't be any redistribution of stress. So which in turn leads to less stress concentration on the pillars, leftover pillars. So that we can avoid the coal bumps. So in case of overriding of pillars, the excess of load acting on the pillar due to overhanging of strata can be reduced by blasting. Yes. So if we are keep on extracting it, and whatever the roof that is present immediately above the face, if it is not collapsed and it is keep on hanging, that is known as overhanging. Okay, if it keep on hanging, what happens? Which leads to the excess of pressure acting on the face. So we need to we should not allow the roof to be hang to a longer span. So what we should do is we need to do some kind of induced blasting by drilling holes using jumbo drills and perform the what you call induced blasting so that it will collapse. Okay, when the overhanging what you call the immediate layer gets a collapse, the stress acting on the face will be reduced so that we can avoid the cold bumps. Next, causes of rock bust. The following are the various causes of rock bust. As I said, in case of metalliferous mines. So see, it is more or less similar to that of coal bumps. Only thing is this terminology is being used in case of metal. Okay, improper design of stope, improper stoping operations, inadequate stoping systems, uh, uh, because improper method of extraction, improper design, inadequate supporting system. Because if you won't provide what you call enough supports, definitely more and more stress concentration will be on the pillars. That leads to rock bust. And the depth of the deposits. Yes, the depth of the deposit is more. This concentration of stress concentration will be more on the pillars. So in this case, it is stopes. So mainly, if you look at right, in case of gold mines, such as coal or gold fields, where the depth of the deposit is present at a very greater depth, like 1 to 1.5 kilometers depth, you can imagine the kind of what kind of what you call pillars that we need to develop so that they can self-sustain. If the pillars are not designed properly with the proper dimensions, what happens? There will be more and more stress concentration, which leads to rock bust. Okay. Next, the rate of extraction. Physico-mechanical properties of the rock. Like, this is we already discussed in case of coal pumps also. Same is the case here. What are the various physico-mechanical properties such as compressive strength, tensile strength, shear strength, various modulus of elasticity, Poisson's ratio, and and various geological disturbances. And these are different parameters that we need to take into account. Okay, which might lead to cause of rock bust. Okay. Next, we'll discuss about preventive measures of rock bust. Yes, the following are the various preventive measures of rock bust. Number one is proper design of the stope by implementing suitable stoping method, by continuously monitoring suitable stoping method. Next one is by continuously monitoring the load acting on the pillars of the stope, by providing proper supporting system so that strata will be controlled effectively. Next, rock bust can be effectively monitored by seismic method. Yes, this is being effectively used mainly in case of rock bust. So mainly in case of metalliferous mines. So in case of metalliferous mines, load cells will be placed at various locations of the pillars, and those cells will be interconnected, and they are connected to what you call some kind of seismograph on the surface, which will be keep monitoring. Okay, using seismograph drum. Okay, how exactly the stress redistribution? If in case in any given location, okay, there will be the stress concentration exceeds its what you call predefined permissible limit, then adequate precautions has to be taken so that we can avoid what we call the rock bust. So with this, I'll conclude this video. Thank you very much.